up, we have Jamie Smith. So Jamie is the co-founder of Amplify Advisors, which focuses on financial strategy for growing businesses. Jamie's role is the Chief Experience Officer, where she leads the client experience and reinforces the values and purpose of Amplify. She runs the strategy, brand, partnerships, and marketing and growth of Amplify. And today, Jamie is going to chat about motherhood and some really interesting topics around that. She wrote a blog, too, that we'll send out in a follow-up after all of this. It is powerful. This is going to be amazing.
Thank you. So don't worry, I'm not talking about numbers. You heard financial strategy, you got scared, but you stayed, so that's good. So I'm going to tell a story about when I was a controller, which is a CPA job. It was a light bulb moment for me. So I had this unique opportunity to have a role where another fellow had the same job as me. So we got paid the same. We were both high performers at the top of the range, thankfully. We both maxed out our bonuses, which was nice. He had been there longer than me, but I was a bit on the succession plan compared to him, but our boss was going nowhere for at least 8-10 years, so that was irrelevant. I maybe got to go to one extra course. But so basically, we had two high-performing, well-respected fellows in the group, me and him. And so it was interesting, right? Because you have a direct comparison. So one night, like many nights, I was working, I was at the office, it was 8 p.m. I got up to go to the washroom. And I walked through the office building and realized I was the only one there. I passed the CEO's office, he was gone. I passed my boss's office, she was gone. And I had this moment where, for the first time in my entire career, mostly my working mom career, because before that I wasn't worried about it, and I realized, wait a minute, who is to blame for the fact that I'm always working? Who is to blame for the fact that I didn't eat supper with my kids again? And it was the first time, and my kids were 8.5 and 3.5, so I'm a slow learner, obviously. It was the first time I realized that I didn't have a job that sucked, and I didn't have an organization that was a slave driver, and I didn't have a bitch for a boss. I actually just had me. I was the problem. I was the reason that I was constantly working. So that moment changed my life, because for the first time I decided, this is me. And you know what? That's okay. So I'm gonna let go of the guilt. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna lean in, as they say. It was around the lean in time, I think. And I'm gonna embrace this, and I'm gonna be ambitious, and I'm gonna do what I love to do, because clearly what I love to do is this, because I keep choosing this over and over and over again. And so it was a light bulb moment, because it changed my life, because up until that point, I felt tremendous guilt. I came from a very traditional family with a stay-at-home mom. I never ever was gonna be a stay-at-home mom, but I was part-time for a while, and I was definitely the primary parent right until that day. And that day I realized, you know what? I'm good at this job, and I really like this job, and I'm kind of shitty at that primary parent thing. So I gave it up. And I became a better mother than I've ever been from that moment forward. So certainly the first 8.5 years of my oldest son, I'm sure we'll see the consequences soon. But the other one's gonna be great. I'm kidding, of course. I do often say that I taught the first one how to eat, and he eats vegetables, and the second one doesn't, and that's on my husband. So, you know, there is a little bit of both. So what does this mean? For me, it means that it's about designing life, and that's what I want to leave you with today. I'm going to tell a couple stories, and hopefully you get that from it. You design your life. You're not a victim of your life. You shouldn't be on the tide of the life that someone else designed. And to a lot of degree, you might not be normal, and if you're not normal, that's even better. You should embrace it. And you don't have to live up to those expectations of being normal. And in today's world, where we're supposed to have work-life flex, and we're supposed to drop our pen at 5, and we're supposed to eat supper with our family every day, it's really tough, but you can make a choice, and it doesn't have to be those things. It can be those things as well. And how do you do it? Like, how do you actually make those choices and live the best life that you can and design a life? It's gonna take a village. You're gonna have some haters in the village, but you're gonna leave them alone. and you're gonna rely on those that are willing to help you. So you're gonna have to get the help. You're gonna have to outsource, you're gonna have to delegate, and you're gonna have to give up some control. And you can do that outsourcing and delegating equivalent or giving up control within work. You can do that within your volunteer jobs, within your friendship groups, within whatever it is that's important to you. I happen to choose to give it up at home, and obviously I had the privilege of an amazing man that was willing to step up, and he's an ambitious hard worker too, but he worked from home and he could make that flex. So that's the choice that I was able to make. So what I did was decided to give up some control. So a great example is, if we all decided to leave here and go to my house today, you would step in the kitchen and you and I would be really grossed out. Because our kitchen is at the standards of my 12-year-old son, my 17-year-old son, and my 50-year-old husband. And they would not understand what your problem was. And that's fine. So this is an example where every day I come home and I breeze through the kitchen and I say, Jamie, you didn't cook, you don't have to clean, it's not your problem, and they don't have to live up to your expectations. Yours aren't necessarily better than theirs. Thankfully on Friday, Lisa comes, she does all the laundry, she cleans the kitchen, and guess what happens the rest of the weekend? I scurry behind the kids and the husband, and I keep it at my level, so I'm sane. But Monday comes, and it goes back to their level. So that's a very simplistic example of giving up control and realizing that if you want to live that life that you design, you can't have it your way in every regard. You have to let other people have a say. One of my favorite things, which I absolutely hate, obviously, is going out for supper with my girlfriends and finding out how many of them cooked supper before they came out for supper with me. And I don't know if you guys know this, but right behind us, there's a skip. And he can download that app. Or worst case, you could download that app. They didn't need to have the salad today. So, those are just examples of if you really want to design a life, there is some sacrifices to make. If you carry the mind share burden, but yet you let someone else cook the meal, you carry the hardest part of the work, right? Same at work, it's the same with your volunteer. I'm not suggesting that you should work more. That's what I chose, but that's not what I mean. Design a life, make choices, and that's what I want to leave you with today. There's a saying, and I'm gonna butcher it, but a working mom is meant to work like she doesn't have kids and raise children like she doesn't have a job. Well, good luck, right? And it's true, that's the expectation. So you're not gonna be normal, you're not gonna meet that expectation, and you need to decide what matters to you and design the life. Don't be a victim of your life, make the choices, own them, and get the help. Outsource, delegate, it takes a village. That's all I got for you.